but there was no, like, back and forth, up and down, comeback, nothing. It was just, like, solid heat for practically the entire match, and that was not a crowd pleaser, but the work was good. Then we had the exact opposite, which was the Hardys versus Nick and Ryan Nemeth for the tag titles, and it was just every Hardys match you've ever seen. You know, they get the heat on Jeff for a while, Matt gets a hot tag, runs wild, place goes nuts, the lead chance, he gets cut off. You know, they build a hot tag, Jeff gets the hot tag, place goes nuts, does all his big moves, he gets cut off, they do the back and forth, and then finally, Jeff goes up top for the senton, Ryan crotches him, Matt takes out Ryan on the outside but gets backdropped onto a chair, Nick hits Jeff with a low blow, hits the zigzag, and then Ryan blind tags himself in, and these people hate Ryan Nemeth, and the announcers are putting over these like a Nepo brother, he's only there because of his brother, he sucks. He gets a blind tag and he pins the Hardys, and this place is furious. There was so much heat for this finish. And the Nemeths are the tag team champions. Then the main event was Hendry, Frankie Kazarian, and Ethan Page for the TNA World title. And it was a good main event. They did a lot of three-way spots. It wasn't the normal, you know, 2 guys in, 1 guy out. It was like a lot of three-way stuff. Ethan Page looked really good. Frankie Kazarian there, but no reason never won the title. You know, Joe Hendry didn't seem any less over than he was before. He gets, you know, put in a choke by Kazarian at the end, which is Kazarian's finish. They're going nuts. We believe chance. Fights free. Gives Kazarian an AA off the apron through a table. And then Ethan tries a belt shot. Joe avoids it. And hits a fall-away slam, hits a standing ovation, and pins Ethan Page. So he did pin the NXT guy, and not the TNA guy. And he's celebrating with the belt. He gets the big win. You know, they're about to go off the air, and then Trick Williams flies in out of nowhere with the trick knee, lays out Joe Hendry, hits a second one. Total heel. I mean, they're booing this guy out of the building. And apparently they did on an angle on Twitter, Shawn Michaels has invited Joe Hendry to settle his issues with Trick Williams on NXT Tuesday. So looks like they're going to be fighting maybe for the TNA title.
So who was the WWE Superstar on the show?
It's Trick.
Yes, on tour bus.
Apparently does now. Or something went wrong. But Trick was a big surprise at the end of the show. Okay. There was no Randy Orton.
No, no Miz.
Oh, God, come on, please. No Miz. Then we had, well, speaking of Miz, what did you think of the SmackDown after WrestleMania?
I didn't see the whole show, but that freaking ladder match. The
you didn't see the whole show?
No.
Because oh, my God.
I saw most of it. But
I know, at 10:30 you said you'd only seen the first hour. And 12:30 it still wasn't done yet.
Yeah, I'd seen...
Did you watch the 4-hour version?
I watched the 3-hour version, which is an hour too long, but the TLC match was fantastic. That was a great main event. And, I mean, I thought everything I saw was good. You know, my first reaction to Selena Vega winning is kind of like, you know, Chelsea Green's very entertaining with that belt, and it was way too soon to take it from her. But the reality is it's like, these belts are pass-around belts. It's like everyone gets their shot at it, so it really doesn't matter.
Well, Chelsea was champ for almost 5 months.
Yeah, but she wasn't ready to lose. She was still picking up steam, but it doesn't matter. You know, it's not a world title. It's a world title. You know, you can say that. You know, this belt is just, it's, you know, when they say that, like, it's somebody's turn for a title, and I always hate that because it's kind of like, what does that make the championship? Everyone gets their turn. But when it comes to, like, the women's U.S. title, that's exactly what it is. So it's her turn, and that's fine. But I just thought Chelsea had been very, very entertaining in that role. And, you know, she's got, like, the secret Hervis and everything, so it's kind of like, you know, she's got that reason not to lose the title and everything, and she may very well win it back.
I think there's a decent chance she'll win it back.
Yeah. So
I mean, this was one of those title changes they do every now and then, because most of the title changes, like, you know who it's going to be, and you know when. And I don't think anybody thought Zelina was winning the title on the show. So it was one of those rare title changes where like people were actually surprised. And you want to do that every now and then. I mean, you can always put the belt back on Chelsea. So
absolutely.
I mean, from that perspective, it was good. The opening segment was Cena and Orton to set up the match in St. Louis, which Cena offered.
Yeah.
He said we should do it at Backlash. Takes place in St. Louis.
They went 35 minutes before they had a match.
Oh, on the show, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that first segment went forever. You know, I mean, it was a good segment. Yeah. We got the main event, which we already knew that main event.
Randy laid him out with the RKO. Got a big pop.
Yeah.
Then we had Fraxium debuting. They've been called up to the main roster. They faced Los Garzas. And a very good debut match. I mean, both guys look great.
Nathan Frazier looked really strong.
I mean,
the one thing with him is he's so fast that no matter where he's, you know, it's like no matter where he goes, the one thing with that speed is that he will always impress. You know what I mean? Like they can bury him. And he's just so fast that, you know, he's got something that, you know, nobody else practically in the business has is that speed. It's really something to see.
Well, I don't think he's going to be buried because they really push the tag division on SmackDown. They got like, it's always big tag matches. And I mean, you got these guys in the Motor City Machine Guns, you got these guys in DIY.
Oh, yeah.
And in none of those matches are they going to look small because it's Shelly and Sabin.
Yeah, the champs of the Street Profits.
Gargano.
They're giants. They're giants next to
Yeah, but the Street Profits are giants against most of these teams.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, all of them. Yeah, even the Angel and Berto. You know, Angel and Berto look really good. I mean, these teams are all really good teams. So, you know, I mean, that part of the SmackDown tag division is really strong. But yeah, I thought that match was very good. Yeah. Short though, but very good.
We had Tiffany coming out for a promo and Jade interrupted, and they did an impromptu match. And the one thing I'll say this about Jade, you mentioned many times that she's not as large physically as muscular as she was before.
She seemed to get more muscular this week.
She is still really strong. I mean, there were some spots in this match where like she had to catch Tiffany. There was one where Tiffany kind of does this cartwheel into a Alabama Slam, I think it is. But I mean, Jade just caught her in mid-move like it was nothing. I mean, she is very strong. And they ended up fighting up top, big superplex. And then Naomi hit the ring. And I've been a big fan of this new Naomi. I think her promos were great. She's had some good matches. But she threw a series of punches.
Oh, yeah.
That, every now and then someone will miss some punches in AEW and it'll go viral for like, you know, people will just go nuts about it. Well, that's what happened here. Yeah. This was not good.
The first half of the match, they really had trouble, but the second half was very good. You know, I mean, it's like I think they kind of got it together. Tiffany Stratton, like, it's like she, you know, people forget she really is pretty inexperienced and everything. And I don't forget. I mean, she's a really.
She had some rough times in matches.
Yeah, but she's a really good athlete, and you know, she's gonna. It's like her interview demeanor. Like she is a babyface, but her interview demeanor.
She does heel promos. Yes,
it's so heelish, and she's just a natural heel. You know, spoiled rich girl thing, right?
It's the same thing with Charlotte. It was the same thing with Sasha. Yeah. I mean, horrible babyface promos because they were heel promos.
Yeah. So that's the thing there, and you know, I mean. At first in that match when they were going out, it was like, oh God, this is not good. But you know, and it's funny because the crowd didn't care because the crowd was doing this is awesome the first time they hit a move that actually hit, and then from that point on they really did a great job. So I thought overall, you know, lame finish, but you know, it's obviously the direction is Tiffany against Nia Jax, and then keeping going the Naomi and Jade Cargill feud. So that's kind of where they so they use that to just get to those two directions.
We had a segment with Jacob Fatu and Solo and LA Knight and Drew McIntyre, and long story short, Jacob does not like Solo. And Nick Aldis signed Drew versus LA Knight. Winner is #1 contender to Jacob Fatu. That happened later on in the show.
That also didn't go anywhere, did it? I mean, as far as another finish with a bunch of run-ins.
Yeah. Well, I mean, technically, Drew won, but I expect we'll have a rematch. Anyway, we had Chelsea and Zelina for the women's title, which Zelina won with, actually it was a botched code red, because Chelsea had her arms in the wrong spot, but they did it. And Zelina won the title, and she was in tears. They said it was the first time she'd ever won a singles title in WWE, and that was that. We had a Miz promo, and he's interrupted by the returning Aleister Black, who kills him with a kick
to the shoulder.
And they announced that match is next week. So that's his return match.
Well, that's a perfect return match. It's a perfect return match. He gets an easy win.
Kill him. Yeah. Bianca backstage, she had her fingers in a cast. Apparently she broke a few at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
And she wasn't heelish, nothing. Just she's out for a while, and when she's back, she has unfinished business to handle.
She pretty much seemed she was going to go after Rhea Ripley.
It was on the other show.
I know. That's what I thought was so weird.
Yeah, well, it's possible.
I mean, her promo was about Rhea Ripley, but then she said that she's SmackDown. So, maybe she's going to go against...
Nothing. Just she's out for a while, and when Bianca backstage, she had her fingers in a cast. Apparently she broke a few at WrestleMania. It was a good match. Drew has good matches with everybody, and he had a good one with LA Knight. Damian Priest ran down and yanked Drew out of the ring for the DQ. They had a wild brawl. Drew gave him South Heaven on the table, left him for dead. And then LA starts yelling at Priest, saying, "You cost me the match." But then Jacob Fatu flies in, wipes them both out. Post Priest, throws LA into the steps, throws him in the ring. PME on LA. Hip attack on Priest, another PME. Fans are chanting one more time. They're going nuts for this Fatu. He's more over than all the babyfaces in this feud here.
Oh, he's totally over as a babyface now.
Yes. Yeah. We had Street Profits, Motor City Machine Guns, DIY, tag titles, TLC ladder match. I mean, the match was awesome. 30 minutes, no commercials. So you saw basically a WrestleMania match for free on television.
It was a 22 minutes and 59 seconds.
And Gargano and Saban are fighting on each side of the ladder at the end, and Montez climbed up from the inside of the ladder, knocked them both off, grabbed the belts and won. He did his, 3 crazy dives during this match, just working like a madman.
They all look good.
Everybody looked great. Yep, Dawkins looked awesome. Everybody looked good. And honestly, I gotta say one thing. As awesome as the wrestling in this match was, I thought the real best thing was Joe Tessitore on commentary.
Oh, yeah.
God damn. This guy might be the best commentator in the entire company right now. He was so great in this match. I mean, great. And I don't know, man. It's like, he just blew my mind with his commentary. Like, he's not annoying. He doesn't say the stupid shit. He just, he feels genuine when he's just freaking out for this stuff and putting over what a great... It's like, the guy hasn't even been around that long, and he's telling me this is the best match in 30 years or something like that. I'm like, God damn, is he right? He's great, this Joe Tessitore. So, great hire by WWE to get him. Mm-hmm. And then we had Collision, which I'm going to find here. So, not a lot happening on the show, to be honest. So, Swerve came out for a promo, and apparently he was going to do a match later on in the show, but he's interrupted by the Young Bucks. And they say, we got your match moved up. It's happening right now. You're in your street clothes. So I guess we're supposed to believe in his street clothes. He's not as good because Blake Christian came out and he just beat on Swerve. I don't know how long this match was.
It was a short match.
It was a short match, but it was like he just beat him and beat him and beat him and flip dive and wipe him out and take him out. And finally Swerve hits a house call and JHL driver one.
Man, it's a 4-minute match.
Well, 3 minutes and 40 seconds was Blake Christian kicking his ass. So then the Bucks applaud and Swerve glares at him. Lee Johnson jumps Swerve. So Swerve takes him out. The Bucks jump Swerve. They hit him with the EVP trigger. Prince Nana ends up in the ring. Kenny Omega runs down to make the save for him. And Kenny gets his ass beat. But then he makes a comeback, hits a big dive, or goes for it, but the Bucks bail, and they announce the All-Star match for Wednesday. Then we had Joe doing a promo on Jon Moxley, and a very good promo. He's wearing this ridiculous red Hawaiian shirt with parrots on it. It's like, only Joe could wear that shirt on television and convince me he's a badass. But he did. He's going to take out the Death Riders, and there's nothing they can do about it. Toni Storm and Queen Aminata. Of course, Toni Storm won. Hip attack, Storm 0.
Queen Aminata looked good here.
She did, but you know what, Dave? We got to have a conversation about this.
Yes.
Now, 3 minutes in this match, Toni Storm comes up. She's bleeding from the face.
Oh, yeah.
Every Queen Aminata match, somebody ends up busted hard way. Like, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Can we stop doing that? It's Toni Storm, for crying out loud. Do not hurt her. But she won, and it was good for what it was. Then we had a bizarre segment.
Yeah.
Jeff Jarrett and his crew were backstage. We have not seen them in forever. And literally the first question is like, where have you guys been and what's next? So then Jay...
It was Sanjay's fault.
Jay Lethal suddenly says, well, we should ask Sanjay if he ever shows up. So Sanjay then shows up and says...
So we have to create our own story.
Well, let me finish this. He goes, we need a minute here. And Jay says, let me ask you, what the hell's your problem? We're here week after week, ready to put in the work, and where have you been? You're supposed to be the leader. We're tired of sitting on the sidelines.
I never knew he was the leader.
Jarrett said, you know what I said January 1st, I want AW Gold. I told Karen we're listening to the wrong people. Jay said, you're damn right you are. This time I have the ideas. So this thing ends, and I'm like, what is happening? Yeah. How many months of storylines have I missed? Did I fast forward through all of them?
Nothing. There's nothing. The thing is, it's like we have to make up our own story.
I'll say.
Because there was no explanation for any of this.
This came out of nowhere.
I mean, the announcers need to follow up, and they didn't. But so is the idea that Sanjay's on the booking team and not booking them?
I have no idea. We literally stepped in the middle of a long storyline where we have missed months of it.
No, it just doesn't exist. There's no storyline other than I don't know what. You have to explain it. They're all. And here's the other thing. It's like, what good is a feud with Sanjay? He's not going to wrestle.
I don't know.
I mean, what does it? You know what I mean?
I was baffled.
I mean, and who's Jay Lethal's back? Who's he going to wrestle? Jeff Jarrett wants a championship. Which months ago he wanted it.
Well, they have changed it here. He just said he wanted AW Gold, so that could be like the international title or the tag team title, something. He's no longer necessarily going after that main title. That was something else, dude. Max Caster Open Challenge. Literally, it's just we're right back where we were. It's like his partner beat him. That was not the culmination of the storyline. It just continued. Hologram came out. He squashed him. That was that. Crew versus Top Flight in a street fight. I thought they worked hard and the action was good. I think
something was missing in that match for me.
Kind of. I mean, the report we got was that it wasn't good, but I wouldn't say that.
I wouldn't say it wasn't good, but there's still something missing.
Well, what's missing is the crowd doesn't care about either team. They don't care about the feud. And so, yeah, that's missing. But as far as wrestling, I thought they did a pretty good job. Then we had Anna Jay squashing Taylor Gainey, and then she gets attacked by Penelope Ford and Megan Bain.
So she needs a partner.
Yeah. Hardly.
Could be.
I think they've been traveling around and doing stuff in real life, so that would work. So then, randomly, in the middle of the show, Bandito defends the Ring of Honor World Heavyweight title against Dralistico. Not the main event, just on the show. And it was a fun match. They went back and forth. And
Jalisco missing stuff.
that's a Jalisco match.
Yeah, Bandito's he needs to drop some weight. He's got the Davey Boy Smith syndrome, where you're really good. The father, not this Davey, not the current, but in the sense that you're really good and then you just get bigger and bigger and bigger when your whole gimmick is being agile. And like with Bandito, it's like he's got to be 20 pounds heavier than when he left, and he doesn't need to be. You know what I mean? It's like he's never going to be a big guy. So being this muscular, but I mean I know what it's like when you start doing the weights and everything like that, and you just get bigger and bigger, and you just want to get bigger and bigger. But for a luchador, the worst thing for a luchador is to look slow. And he at 215 pounds or whatever he's weighing right now, it's just too much weight, and he needs to. That's the only thing. I mean he's really good, but I see it in his movement. It's not, the movement's not there like it used to be, and it's obviously because of the weight. And the other thing is that at least when he was with Jericho, he's out there doing these great power spots that at least get over. He didn't do any power spots. He was just doing lucha, and he was just so. If he's gonna do lucha, he should be lighter. Match was fine. There's nothing wrong with the match, but I mean a little rough in certain places. It was all right. It was not I would not call it a great match, and it was booked to be a great match. I mean that's why they put them there, and it just didn't quite get there.
We had Roosh returning and beating Air Fox quickly.
Yep.
And then we had Trent and Rocky doing a promo. And if you were attending WrestleMania weekend or you were watching all the shows and you missed Collision last week, you have absolutely no idea what's going on. They had no video packages on Dynamite, none on Collision. Trent and Rocky are now back together and evil.
Yeah, with Don Callis.
We didn't even know that.
Yeah, they were with Don Callis. Yeah.
Okay, well, that's the first I've
Well,
heard.
it was all over the show last week. I mean, this wasn't a small angle. It was.
I know, but the point is, it was all over the show last week, and you should have recapped it for the people that missed last week's show.
They did it on Wednesday.
No, they mentioned it in commentary.
Yeah, they mentioned it. They talked about it.
Okay, we need a recap to see what's going on here. Because I watched the show and I heard it, and I was still like, so what happened? What happened?
Yeah, they attacked those guys. Yeah,
They attacked those guys.
they attacked. There was a post-match attack in the match on last week. Yeah.
Who did they attack?
What was it? It was Josh Alexander's catch against Will Ospreay and I don't remember. Josh Alexander's catch was Will Ospreay and Brody King. I think so. And there's a whole bunch of run-ins, and they came out, and they're basically their gimmick is that they have been underrated, and nobody knew about Trent and Rocky and Trent, which they were tag team for years and years and years and years, and now they're back together, and Rocky's a heel, and it makes sense for Rocky to be a heel because they're going to Mexico where Rocky's a big heel, so it all makes sense. But they did an angle and then they followed it up, so that's all.
So the main event was FTR versus Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong. And this was a rematch of that match they had a few months ago where the match went totally off the rails. But through sheer force of will, they got it back on track and ended up being great. This one was even better because they didn't botch anything. So
the match. It was a really good match.
It was a very, very good TV main event. And Kyle had Dax in an ankle lock. Cash broke it up with a dive off the top. Heels hit Kyle with a spike pile driver, pinned him. So like I said, I missed Collision last week. Was there a reason for this match? Is there like a number one contendership on the line or anything? Or did they just have a match because it would be good?
They said it was set up last week. Yeah, it was set up. Just just like you're setting up FTR against Adam Cole and Garcia. Looks like next.
All right, so Adam Cole hit the ring. Daniel Garcia with a crowbar hit the ring. And then he cut a promo saying he would now be FTR's problem.
Yeah.
He was going to make them pay.
Yeah, so they might be doing like Daniel Garcia and Adam Copeland against FTR as well. I think down the line, maybe even that's one for All In.
We don't know when Copeland's going to be back.
Well, he's got to be back for All In. He shouldn't be back for this pay-per-view, but he should be back for the next pay-per-view.
We got another month before this pay-per-view, right? End of May?
May 25th, yeah.
May 25th, yeah, so we got a month left. So
I mean, Adam Copeland could come back.
he actually probably should return at the pay-per-view and then set up the match at All In.